I was born in Brazil, in Rio de Janeiro, in 1947, of a Brazilian mother and an American father, in the following circumstances. My maternal grandfather, a Brazilian politician, had been in opposition to the dictatorship of Vargas in Brazil. His political life had been cut short by his struggle against that dictatorial regime, and he had been subjected to a series of imprisonments and of exiles. The last of these exiles was in the United States in the final part of the Second World War. And there my mother met my father, and they came to visit Brazil while my mother was expecting me. And in this period, my father had a very serious heart attack that almost killed him, and was unable to return to the United States, and thus I was born in Brazil at this time when my father was convalescing. I then spent my childhood in New York City, but my vacations in Brazil with my grandfather. I attended a small private school in New York, and we continued to live in New York until my father's death of another serious heart attack when I was 11. Then my mother returned to Brazil with my sister and me, and I did my secondary education and my university education in Brazil. I then came to the United States right after graduating from law school in Brazil with the intention of spending a year of graduate study at Harvard University. During this year, a military crackdown took place in Brazil. My sister and many of my friends were arrested, and I found it impossible to return to Brazil. Harvard invited me to start teaching very early. After this first year of graduate study, and I then changed my plans radically and began this very long period of life in the United States. I threw myself into a series of theoretical projects until it became possible for me to begin returning to Brazil. And over the last 20 years, I have then divided my time between my theoretical work in the United States and my political engagement in Brazil. More recently, I was invited by President Lula to join the Brazilian government and had an experience of involvement in public life that I will later describe. Along the way, I fell in love and remained in love and got married, and we have 4 children. And my very strong wife and very strong-willed children have entirely transformed my experience.